This is just so cool.
Hey, listen! It's too late for a
Set! Let him have it, Mac!
The final Super Mario Bros. Movie trailer has just released, and honestly, it might be my favorite one. That said, here's everything you may have missed. Beginning with a killer opening shot of the Darklands, we hear Luigi screaming in the distance in fear. In the next shot, we see a whole bunch of cages dangling over this large, massive pit of lava, and in the background, it looks like you only see like penguins in cages, but I also noticed there's a couple Goombas, and I think a couple dry bones as well, and of course there's Luigi. Now, if I were to guess, the only reason the Goombas are in here is because they aren't actually aligned with Bowser, which is kind of shocking because most of the Goombas, or all the ones we see in the games and here in the movies, seem to only be working with Bowser, but in canon Mario lore, the Goombas actually used to be members of the Mushroom Kingdom, and they used to live there peacefully. But when Bowser came along, some of them joined his side, so there are still some Goombas lying around, and this movie seems to represent that. Moving on, there is another species still stuck in a cage here as we see a blue Luma, which I still believe to be Luma Lee. Now, my original guess of the role of the character in this movie was going to be that they were somehow going to revive Mario from the dead or something like that, because Luma Lee is a character who gives you the 1-up mushrooms and all kinds of other things, but here it seems like they're going to be more of a comedic relief character, which I'm definitely not opposed to.
The only hope is the sweet relief of death.
Although there is still one thing I'm very confused about. How did Bowser exactly cage Luma Lee? If Luma Lee is a space creature, you know, a Luma, then how did Bowser get to them exactly? I'm not totally sure, but I'm sure that may be answered in the movie. Maybe? I don't know. In other news, we get to see more of the Penguin King, of which I am really glad to see. I was really hoping this character, as well as the entire penguin species, wouldn't just be like your quick introduction characters and we never see them again. But here, this gives me hope that we'll see more of these characters, because I think they kind of struck gold with them in the first place. There is one more thing I wanted to say about this scene to its entirety, and just how similarly structured it is to like the final boss battle you would see in a Mario Bros. Game. Like, this whole room, like if you think about it, the lava's at the bottom of the floor, you can see there's like a door towards, you know, the far side of the room, and that reminds me of the entrance that Mario would run in to fight Bowser and then hit the axe that we always see. Which I think could be a possibility as, you know, the end of the movie. This could be where the final boss or the final segment of the movie takes place. The following scene featuring Bowser and his army is actually pretty fantastic. First things first, can we talk about how hyped Kamek is just to see Bowser get all riled up about his army? Like, man is actually dancing. Like, this is so tough. It's like he's supposed to be Bowser's hype man or something. But anyway, as Bowser begins to introduce his army, we get a closer look at some of the prominent characters that'll probably be taking place in this movie, like this Blue Shell Koopa, which I think is going to be a really major power player, as we've seen him in multiple posters. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I really want him to become an actual character in the series. Then we see some Goombas, and I think they are really well designed. They're a bit different than how they usually are in the games with a more rounder bottom, but I'm still down for it. And also, you can see closer in the background, one Goomba is chewing on the other Goomba's head. I have no idea what's going on here, but I just love how carefree and wacky they all seem to be. Also, if you look even further in the background, you can see a Sledge Bro, which wasn't actually officially announced, and I believe this is the first time we're seeing them so far in any of the trailers, and they will show up again later in this one as well. The last part of this scene has two Spinies, of which Bowser can't remember the names of, which is a little sad. The next new scene we get a look at here is Bowser defining his goals, destroying the Mushroom Kingdom, although I'm not sure how well that matches up with his previous goals as referenced in other trailers where he says he's about to rule the world. So maybe he plans to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom and then conquer and rule it? I'm not totally sure, but if you destroy it, wouldn't that mean you'd have nothing left to conquer? I don't know, but I'm still down for it. I'm also even more down for the fact that Kamek is continuing to show just how hype he is for Bowser. Like, I need this man as my hype man. Kamek is a real one. The next couple scenes tell us once again that Bowser is coming, and a closer look at the Mushroom Kingdom castle and all the toads inside of it. We also get a better look at the interior design of the castle itself, and to me it is screaming Super Mario 64, with the white clouds and light blue coloring, which, I mean, yeah, I know it's in a lot of other Princess Peach castles, but 64 was the first one that came to mind. Moving on, we get a more extended clip of Luigi getting dragged in and shown to Bowser, which is really nothing new, but it's nice to see this, you know, whole thing really play out. Oh, and hey look, Sniff It again. And we get another look at the nice little fire flower field that Mario, Toad, and Peach go to eventually, and this is where Peach gets the fire ability, and maybe they're teaching Mario more so about power-ups during their journey, and Mario says a line that I really love, "I'll do anything to save my brother," and it really ties well with the previous video that I had made, where basically I said that the Mario movie is going to demolish the whole argument that Mario is a bad brother. Quick little shameless plug for you, if you have not seen that video, definitely go check that out. Next up, we get our first officially released look at Bob-omb Battlefield and Toast Arena, and I am so glad to actually show these because before I made a video where I just kind of talked about them but didn't really get to show you them because I was afraid of copyright. Here I can do it without having that fear. This is so cool because even though I know it's not going to be a location where we're going to be actively exploring, or these characters are going to be exploring rather, I still feel like it's really cool that they're in the movie in the first place. Yes, they're going to be passing through there, but we're not going to be seeing extended shots of these areas, or probably not anyway, judging by the camera positioning. Also, you look closer to the Toast Arena scene, you can see Mario take his hat off. Maybe he's just being like, this is too hot right now and I can't do this anymore. And it's kind of funny. The next new scene is a look at the Paratroopas and Koopa Troopas. And as we can see here, the Blue Shell Paratroopa is taking command, taking lead, as I expected. And this is probably likely in front of the Darklands or on top of Bowser's ship. And they're probably going to be flying out to attack. And I think this shot looks really cool. Then you get to my favorite scene in this entire trailer. Mario and DK powering each other up. And this is awesome because, like, I was confused on what the relationship between Mario and DK would be like in this movie in the first place, but seeing as though they're, like, kind of, like, palling around, fighting together, it is so cool. Like, seeing DK at first get the Fire Flower, something we've never seen before in any of the main canon, like DK using a power-up. Really, no one uses power-ups outside like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, and a couple others, but seeing DK do this leads me to believe that there's so many other potential avenues they can dive into with this film, and I am so excited because I feel like we're only scratching the surface. Another thing that is actually really worth talking about in my opinion is the function of the mushroom. You see, when it comes to Mario, I feel like when he takes a mushroom, he always becomes like normal height, and he gets smaller if he gets hit. But in this way, Mario's kind of already normal height, but when he takes a mushroom, he gets even bigger, like he's getting a mega mushroom or something. And I don't mind this at all because I was kind of hoping they would take it in this direction because I didn't really want to see like a small Mario in this movie. Rather, this is the small Mario we're seeing, the regular looking one. And I really like that approach. I think they did it perfectly. Also, I like how he eats it as opposed to just touching it. This is really cool. Then we see Mario run across those bricks, and at this moment, I am getting extreme Super Mario Bros. 3 vibes, where like Mario is running and you see his arms behind him. Like, bruh, I feel like every single shot in this movie can be compared to some sort of reference or material from previous Mario games or Mario lore, and it's just insane. But also, in this shot, we can see Bowser's airship, or his castle, or whatever it's supposed to be, and we've seen this shot earlier where Mario is in the Tanuki suit, and I feel like this is all definitely going to be happening around the same time period, if not at the same time. The next shot has Mario and DK jumping around this 2D playing field like an actual 2D video game, and of course we see Sledge Bro again. Like I said, we would see him again, and it just, I mean, my goodness, I cannot stop thinking about how amazing this part of the trailer was. I mean, the whole trailer was great, but this moment with Mario and DK working together and just utilizing these power-ups is just so cool to me. The next scene takes us to an area in DK Jungle where Mario, Peach, and Toad get their carts made, and this, I believe, is taking place before the scene we just previously talked about because I think they're going to race on Rainbow Road and eventually end up in the Mushroom Kingdom. That's a prediction. I'm not totally sure on that one, though, so don't quote me. And of course, I do believe that this scene is probably going to be following that after the Mario vs. DK scene that we've seen many times before in different trailers, and I feel like this is essential to know because I feel like at this point, Mario will have gained respect from the Kongs and therefore is entrusted with their cart, or their cart-making abilities. This also leads me to believe that I feel like Mario definitely won that fight against DK because that's the only possible way I can feel like the Kongs would actually feel like, yeah, you know what, this Mario guy's pretty cool, let's make him a cart. And on to the last scenes of the trailer, we see Rainbow Road action with the Koopa Troop fighting against Mario and friends. And this is so cool because these are some mechanics that I feel like would be really cool to implement in an actual Mario Kart game, although I have no idea how they would work. Like, look at this. Mario is just doing all these flips, jumping on different sides of Rainbow Road and taking people out left and right. Like, this is so cool. One last thing I do want to mention is that I know this soundtrack is going to be absolute heat. Like, this scene, it goes so well with the beat of the song, and it actually is like helping the song because of like the way the shell hits the other vehicles. Like maybe I'm overthinking things, but geez, this trailer was insane and probably one of my favorites. That said, I hope you enjoyed this video and talking about what you might have missed in the final Mario movie trailer, and let me know in the comment section down below what you're most hype about from this trailer. That said, this is signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?